Hello and welcome to Untwisted Threads. This is CaMaRose Midnattsol or Midnight Sun. This 54% baby alpaca, 10% merino wool, and 36% tinsel yarn features 35 colors. The colorway that we chose is 9558 Eggplant. This 25 gram skein with 200 meters or 218 yards works up as a lace weight yarn. The suggested gauge for one strand is a 3mm needle and 19 to 22 stitches and 30 to 36 rows per 4 inches or 10 centimeters. For our swatch, I will be using a 3.5mm needle size holding 2 strands together. In today's video, we're going to review and score CaMaRose Midnight Sun using our 5 categories, which are availability, softness, traction, durability, and cost, to help you decide if this is the best yarn for you and your next project. Stay tuned until the end for a few pattern recommendations as well. Would you like to see how all of our yarns compare to one another or enter to win our monthly giveaway? Join our free newsletter linked in the description box below. Let's get started. For availability, we give Midnight Sun a score of 3 out of 5. Since CaMaRose originates in Denmark, I was happily surprised that this yarn has a decent amount of purchase options at smaller yarn shops here in the US, including La Mercerie and the Yarnery. It's not on any major craft websites and at a few smaller shops in the UK that we know of, like Loop London and Knit. It's mostly at local shops in Denmark who do not ship to the United States, so if you live on that side of the world, you do have the most options to be able to purchase this yarn. For softness, we give it a score of 4.6 out of 5. For being as soft as it is after blocking, working with it didn't stand out to me like the other brushed alpaca yarns have. Maybe it's due to the fiber content of only 54% alpaca and 10% merino wool. Now, I'm not saying it's not soft because it absolutely is. It just wasn't giving me a huge, overwhelming wow impression softness-wise. For comparison, it is softer than Barocco Ultra Alpaca Light and not quite as soft as Drops Alpaca. I'd say it's pretty comparable to Cascade 220 Superwash Merino. On a micron count scale, alpaca has a wide range of softness, as some are of course softer than others, but on average it's around a 24, which is softer than Peruvian Highland wool and typically less soft than merino, but not always. I will say the individual strand of yarn doesn't have as much fluff and halo as I was anticipating, but I think it would make a great second strand of yarn to add a little bit of fuzz to a wool. The shiny core in the center is a 35% tinsel, and then the alpaca is brushed out to make it super fuzzy. So unlike mohair, which the fibers tend to stick straight out away from its core, this one has shorter fibers that stays closer to its core. If you're sensitive to wool yarns, or more specifically alpaca yarns, you shouldn't have any issues wearing this yarn, but we absolutely recommend making a swatch with one first and trying it out before you make an entire garment with it. In terms of warmth, alpaca fibers are lighter and warmer than sheep's wool, but also breathable. Their fibers contain air pockets that can provide great insulation in the winter, but are also breathable, allowing it to keep you cool in the summer, making it naturally thermoregulating. For traction, we give it a score of 3.5 out of 5. Even holding 2 strands of yarn together, it wasn't the most difficult experience. I was able to grab onto the center core fairly easily. It still had some drag on the needles, but the yarn wasn't like Velcro sticking to itself. I probably wouldn't use a wooden or bamboo needle when working with this one, as I don't think the yarn would move at all. I did like using a bit of a larger needle size, as if I used a smaller size, it could have easily been more difficult with the tighter stitches. For durability, we give it a score of 4.5 out of 5. Alpaca actually stands up better to everyday wear compared to wool. Similar to Peruvian Highland wool, because of the harsh environments of Peru and in the Andes, alpaca wool is much hardier than, say, a merino wool. This yarn does also contain merino yarn and a tensile core, which could keep the alpaca fiber from stretching out over time. How the yarn was twisted and constructed did make the ends of the strand come apart when pulling on it, so just be gentle when working with it. When it came to the stress test, fibers collected only when feeling the swatch with my hand, but no structured pill balls. Luckily, because this yarn is brushed, if you're not looking for it, the fiber collection is hardly noticeable at all. And when it comes to washing, it is recommended to hand wash. For cost, we give it a score of 4 out of 5. For being a 25-gram skein, you can expect to pay $7.50 US per skein. That breaks down to about 3 cents per yard, meaning a size medium sweater quantity would cost approximately $45, not including the second strand of yarn if you decide to hold this one double with itself or a wool. Overall, we give CaMaRose Midnatssol a score of 3.92 out of 5. It has a great color selection, softness, wool, and alpaca content all in one. If you're looking for a less fuzzy mohair alternative, this could be a great option for you to try. So we had a little look on Ravelry and wanted to share a few pattern recommendations with you, hopefully to inspire you if you're wanting to use this yarn for a project of your own. The first pattern is the Aurelia Cowl by Hilary Smith Callis. It comes in one size with finished measurements of a 23.5 circumference at the top opening and 20.5 inches tall at the center. It suggests using a US 6 or 4 millimeter needles with a DK weight yarn or a strand of lace weight like this held together with a fingering weight yarn. It is constructed like a semicircle shawl, but mostly in the round. When worn, it resembles a small shawl wrapped around the neck, but without any ends threatening to become untied. It also features a light and airy lace design. The next pattern is the Rapunzel Blouse by Aneta Bleyer. It comes in 4 sizes with finished bust measurements ranging from 42 to 54 3/4 inches and recommends 7 to 12 inches of positive ease. It suggests using a US 4 or 3.5 millimeter needle size and a lace weight yarn to meet gauge. It is knitted top down, partially flat, partially in the round, and is completely seamless. It features a V-neck shape in the back and a simple sequence of cables. It also includes short row shaping at the neckline, and the edges are finished with an I-cord. The last pattern is the Field Beret by Camilla. It comes in one size and suggests using a 3 and 4 millimeter needle size with a DK weight yarn or a strand of lace and a strand of fingering weight yarn to meet gauge. It is knit seamlessly in the round from the top down. It features the same field grain texture pattern as her popular field sweater, cardigan, and mittens. Have you used CaMaRose Midnatssol yarn before? What yarn would you like for us to do a review on next? We would love to hear your thoughts and recommendations in the comments below. And if you enjoyed today's review, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time.